All right, this is Trina Segna. We're back with Billy Vaughn, the author of the book Betrayed, the shock and true story of Extortion 17 as told by Navy SEAL's father. The book is about his son, Navy Chief Special Warfare Operator, Navy SEAL Aaron Vaughn, who died August 6, 2011, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom on Extortion 17. So before we get into our topics, I just want to ask you a question on something you touched back in our last interview. You said that there was a black box that was recovered. Did anything come out of that? Did you get any answers?
Oh, no answers. I mean, the military, has denied that they found a black box, but people either in the military at the time or people still in the military on now several occasions have either told us that there was a black box on the machine, and one guy actually told us that he was he and a group of men were in charge of guarding the black box, and just in the last probably the last 3 months, a conversation with another guy who said he was pilot on Extortion 17 on the Friday night before the chopper was shot down. So a week before, it was actually 5 days before it was shot down. He told us, and he told me, he said the black box was on it then. So they just, they lied about the black box like they have a lot of other stuff. They don't want anybody to know what's on that black box.
Wow. Well, we're still praying that you guys will get the answers that you deserve, and that's a lot of stuff goes on, I guess, that Americans don't really know about, but unfortunately you do know, because you've experienced the worst of the worst. And that's and one of the other things that a lot of people are experiencing is something I want to talk to you about today. The ICC and the NCIS, who are responsible for overseeing our military over war crimes, has now had their visas revoked, according to Mike Pompeo, who said that we are determined to protect Americans and allied civilians from living in fear of unjust prosecution for actions taken to defend our great country. So, how do you think military families feel about this news that hopefully our warfighters are going to be protected now?
Well, obviously military families are going to be very relieved. The rules of engagement that were in effect when Aaron was killed are the same kind of ridiculous criminal rules of engagement that have caused guys like Eddie and guys like Clint and guys like Derek to be in prison. But what I want you to understand is this: there's more there than you see, and as you begin to learn, the picture becomes clearer and clearer. The object here is not to put men in prison for being a great warfighter. The object, the mission, the agenda here is to destroy the military. That's what the agenda is.
Wow.
Well, it is. And maybe people think I'm a conspiracy nut or whatever, but that's what the Marxist agenda is. Why in the world would this guy, I can't pronounce his name now, Zardak or whatever, this guy who's supposed to be an honorable military man himself, the JAG guy, the prosecutor, why would he say the things that he said about Eddie Gallagher, about Chief Eddie Gallagher, and describe him the way he did? That's not necessary. That in its own place is a disgrace. That this guy would talk about a fellow brother in the military in this way. In fact, it should pain the prosecutor. It should grieve the prosecutor to think he's going to have to carry out these charges against one of his fellow military men. But you see, that's not the case at all. In fact, what you see here is him going beyond the bounds, beyond the lines, going outside the lines. In fact, breaking the law and tracking Eddie's email and his defense team's emails and all this kind of stuff, trying to find ways to convict him instead of letting the facts stand alone to do the job. And that's what I'm talking about trying to destroy the military. Military suicides are greater than they've ever been.
Right.
And there's a reason for that, I believe. It's because of the rules of engagement. It's because of the ridiculous ridiculous ways they have to fight that the USCMJ has restrictions they have put on them, and they know that they're under constant threat. There's by them, UCMJ, and in their mind, when they're in the theater, is this: well, do we defend ourselves? Do we defeat the enemy? Or do we follow these ridiculous rules of engagement to stay out of prison? And men over and over and over and over deploy in this now 20-year-old war, nearly 20-year-old war that is still going on because our government still has not identified the enemy. The enemy is doctrinal Islam. That's who the enemy is. And that's not being said, that's not even being taught, it's not even being mentioned by the American military. The warfighters on the ground know, they know who it is. And they know they're fighting against an enemy that our government will not name. That in fact, many in our government are in cahoots with, and not on purpose, but because they're idiots and refuse, are in cahoots with jihadis who are Islamic advisors who are making people of on the high echelon in the State Department and in the Defense Department both look like fools and idiots because they believe what these suit-wearing jihadis tell them about Islam and how it's a peaceful religion. Much the same as what George Bush was being told right after September the 11th when he said it's a religion of peace. And our warfighters know it's not. And they know there's a conflict between the people who wear suits and ties, who sit behind white linen tablecloths and talk across the table and make rules of engagement for men out on the battlefield to live and die by, who hear the bullets whiz by their heads, who smell the stench of war, who see their buddies' blood leave their bodies. And it's totally two different stories altogether. And until we can reconcile those two stories, we're not going to win a war. We're going to continue to lose with the greatest military the world has ever seen. And we're going to keep on spending and wasting American taxpayers' dollars. We're going to keep on losing American warriors' blood on the battlefield. And it's going to become more and more frustrating as we don't win the war against these jihadis.
So, I mean, I could be incorrect about what I'm about to say, but this is just, a feeling that I've had for a long time, is that it almost seems like the high-rank officials honestly don't want to win it, because who even gives oversight to, prosecutors like, the prosecutor in Eddie Gallagher's case? Is there any oversight over these prosecutors and judges?
Okay, so let me say two things here. One is, many of our high-ranking military officials do not have the same worldview as the normal American-day citizen, the normal American citizen who believe in the United States, who believe in our country, who believe in freedom. They have a globalist worldview. And many high-ranking military officials, not many, if they're high-ranking, they have become politicians. I'm not saying all
right.
high-ranking military men and women not saying, but if they were a flag officer or better, they have become a politician because they had to go along with the agenda to be promoted, and when they get ready to be promoted, they have to go before the United States Senate.
Gotcha.
So, as ludicrous as that sounds, that's the way our laws are, and they have to be confirmed by the Senate. So they have, in fact, become much a politician, like a cabinet member, or like anybody like that who has to be confirmed by the Senate to say and do the right things. The second part of your question you asked if there was oversight. Yes, there is oversight. But to go against these prosecutors, to go against the UCMJ, is not a star on your career, okay? Because
Gotcha.
then you can have these same lawyers come back on you. And it takes a hell of a man or a woman with a lot of guts and courage
And money.
when they hear something from these UCMJs to say, oh, that's stupid, I'm not going to make my men go by that.
Right.
Because then if it goes awry, then guess who gets blamed? And guess who? The lawyers, the UCMJ, which is not a justice system, by the way, it's a penal system to punish men and women in the military. So then guess what those lawyers are going to say? Well, I told Captain so-and-so, or I told Admiral so-and-so. And so that's the rub right there. It takes, like I said, it takes a great American to go against the UCMJ.
All
And then
right.
you see what the UCMJ has tried to do to Chief Gallagher.
Yes.
They're not fair. They're, like I said, they're not even honorable.
Right.
Just think about this a second. They're as corrupt as what you're seeing on TV with the FBI and the DOJ and our other government. We've been so infiltrated by Marxists, by globalists, by jihadis, that it's just even unimaginable now what the men on the ground in the FBI and law enforcement, the war fighters, what they have to go through to do their jobs.
And I was actually going to ask you about this. It's my understanding that the ICC is actually a unit within the same FBI that Director Comey was director of at that time. I mean, am I correct that the ICC is?
I don't know the answer to that, Trey. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. I'm thinking it is, but I could be, absolutely wrong. As you know, there's many, not just Chief Gallagher, but Goldstein and others that, are being charged with murdering enemy fighters. So
That's right.
what are the rules of engagement if we're training our soldiers to go and, I mean, I hate to be blunt about it, but kill the enemies that are trying to kill us? What are the rules of engagement that would allow this to happen? I mean,
okay, so what the rules of engagement allow this to happen is what our guys are living under, like where you can't shoot back unless you're sure that the man who fired at you has still got his gun. If he's put his gun down, you can't shoot him. You can't send dogs in houses anymore because it's offensive to the Muslims. You can't shoot him. If you get fired out of a canyon or a mosque, you can't shoot back because you don't know who you're shooting in there. You don't know who might be in there. So, I mean, there are rules of engagement that are enough to drive a soldier crazy. And then when you take soldiers like the SEALs and the Rangers and groups like that that are specially trained to be able to go out and kill the enemy very efficiently with minimal loss of life, and are able to do so, and are able to do that in a manner where there's very, very little, if any, collateral damage, and then you tie their hands. Also, you end up putting in their mind everything that they're training against everything that they were trained, and then they also end up either getting put in prison or getting killed. And then when you have an idiot like this prosecutor for Eddie who comes out and says Chief Gallagher is a monster and he's the reason why we have ISIS today, he's either an idiot or he's an outright liar. And either way, the results are the same for the men and women in the military and for the American citizen. If he really believes what he said is true, well, then that's enough that he should be removed from the military.
Right.
Because you and I know where ISIS comes from. They don't come from somebody like Eddie Gallagher or any of our military men. They come from an ideology that says go out and kill the infidels, the Christians, and the Jews, and the people of the book, and we want to establish a caliphate in the way of Allah. That's where they come from. Nobody
right.
Come down from that ideology, and in fact, trying to get along with them doesn't help either. And so, if that man really believes the statements he's made, like I've said, he deserves. He needs to be out of the military. He needs to be where he can't do any Americans any harm. What I mean by that, I don't mean locked away, but I mean in a place where he's not in any kind of position where he could be making decisions for Americans about the ISIS ideology. So
yeah, I think it's
just ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous.
It's disgusting.
Ridiculous doesn't even begin to describe it. But what I said, you need to remember this. You need to remember it's not about the ridiculous statements. It's about destroying the military. And if they can destroy the Navy SEALs, well, then they've destroyed the tip of the spear.
Well, I'm glad you told me that because, now my thought process is broader than what it was before. Now, do you know Chief Eddie Gallagher?
Do I know him?
Yes, on a personal basis.
Oh, yeah, I've known. Yeah, absolutely. I've known Eddie for. I've known Eddie for over 20 years now, I guess. Yeah. No, not quite 20 years. I've known Eddie for about 17, somewhere 16, 17, 18 years. I mean, Eddie and Aaron used to live together before both of them were married when they were SEALs on the West Coast. And obviously we've known Eddie through the years. It was Karen and I were with Eddie and Andrea last February a year ago out in San Diego, and he told me then about some of the things that were being done to him as it was moving along, and we keep in touch with Andrea, and I'd say we're pretty good friends with him.
Well, anybody that knows you and your family and your son's service, if you say that he is being treated wrongly, then anybody with any common sense has to believe you, because I mean, just I've read a lot about your family. When Extortion 17 was shot down, I read a lot, put it that way, a lot about our military, and just what I've read about Eddie, it's my understanding now that he did not murder. Well, none of our guys murder anybody over there. We're in war, and war there's no such thing, in my opinion, as murder whenever our guys take out an enemy combatant, period. But it's my understanding that that the ISIS fighter that was killed was actually, Eddie was actually trying to save his life, and some Iraqi forces guy even said that that's exactly what happened, was that Eddie did not kill this guy. This guy was already mortally wounded, and Eddie was doing his job. That's what I have learned, just from reading, and I know that if you say that, he's innocent of these charges, I 110% believe you. But I would think that, knowing what we know about the prosecutor, I understand that the prosecutor has been removed, but the damage is done, isn't it? I mean, his rights have been violated, and I don't see how he could be given a fair trial when the judge overseeing his trial was the same judge that was presiding over the other parts of it, the trial, with the same prosecutor.
So let me just say, all good points, Trina, but let me just tell you a couple things here.
Okay.
You need to know how deep this is embedded in our military. Many months ago, when Trump began to consider pardons for certain men in the military, there was a meeting with congressmen who were bringing these names about men who had been wrongly imprisoned, wrongly charged. And then Secretary of Defense General Mattis, who many people think is a great war hero, and he may be in some areas. But then, when Mattis's comment on that, I am told from an inside source, was if we do this, it's going to make the institution look bad. That is not a shocking statement to me coming from Mattis, because that is exactly the train of thought in the upper echelon of the military, that the institution is more important than the men and women who make the military function on the ground and who defeat the enemy.
And this is the same.
It is so embedded that it is unreal. And let me tell you something else. It's not, here again, when the UCMJ takes a case, and I don't know all their cases, I just hear the bad ones. But when the UCMJ takes a case, it's not about finding a man guilty or innocent. It's about they don't charge him until they think that they can make sure he's guilty. And there have actually been cases where men who have been charged, they've had, just like Eddie did, an Iraqi or an Afghan come to the United States to testify on their behalf, and when they get to the United States, the other side, meaning the military, meaning the side that should have our warfighters back, if at all possible, the UCMJ has taken those men and promised them great things in the United States if they will either recant their story or change their story.
Wow.
And I know the things that I'm telling you are going to be hard for your audience to believe. They're going to think that I'm a nut. But it is the truth, and that's why I'm saying it's not about finding justice. It's not about finding truth. It's about destroying men and women, and in the long run, destroying the American military. That's what it's about. That's Marxism infiltrated into the ranks, the mid-ranks, and the upper-level ranks, and the justice system of our U.S. military. By the way, just like it has the rest of our federal government.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
What you're saying, we have a unique audience that I'm going to say 85% is going to believe everything you're saying. And I would hope that military parents, like us and you and countless, are listening to this. I mean, a part of us should be a little frightful about what is going on. In your opinion, this case should absolutely be dismissed, do you think? I mean, I do. I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, but it's I don't know if the case being dismissed would reinstate Gallagher, but I read somewhere that he actually wants to fight this. But with what you're saying, it's going to be a very tough battle because the good guys don't necessarily win, correct?
That's right. I mean, they will in the end. We know that the Lord will win in the end, but there is so much corruption, so much evil. Let me tell you this: Eddie Gallagher is an honorable man.
Yes.
His family is a Christian family. His wife is as strong and has as much courage as any woman that I've met. If I'll tell you right now, and I'm sure there are plenty of them out there, but if women, if wives, and if widows would stand up to what's going on in the military, like Ms. Gallagher has, like Andrea has, and like Ms. Goldstein has, we may be able to get some of these things changed. And I'm not blaming them at all. It's hard to stand up.
Yes.
It takes something that comes from somewhere besides just what's in you. You have to have a faith and a courage that is bigger than you.
And unshakable.
To stand up to this monster. And that monster is our government. And people in our government. I mean, we have a good system, but we have corrupt people all throughout it who are making it a bad system. And that's what like I said, Eddie's an honorable man. I know Eddie well, and I love Eddie. My son loved Eddie. I don't know what else to say about Eddie, but it's just, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this right now. American people need to stand up for these warfighters.
Yes.
Because it was said by Calvin Coolidge that a nation that forgets its soldiers will itself soon be forgotten.
Yes.
And what is happening to men who are going over there and, risking their lives and fighting a savage enemy. And Eddie, I believe, I think, and I may have this number wrong, I think Eddie has done 18 deployments.
Wow.
He's given most of his life to fighting the war in Afghanistan and the war in Iraq.
And we got...
This is what he gives.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What he gives right here.
He gives his life, and they want to take his. That's...
I know an admiral over Naval Special Warfare who said, Eddie Gallagher should be given a pass on this. Men like Eddie are hard to find. There's not many of them. And they knew should let Eddie retire and go on about his business. But the man would never say it publicly because here again, his career would be ended.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying, all I'm saying is every man has to make his own decision.
Right.
Whether he's got the courage to speak publicly or not and what it costs him. But it's absolute, and what's been done to his family, what's been done to his boys, the people who gave the order to go in there and take those little boys out, they should be in prison. And they should be put in the prison that Eddie was in for a long, long time.
Yes.
That treated those little boys like that. They knew where Eddie was. They knew where Andrea was. And they did those little boys, they did something to those little boys that they won't ever forget the rest of their life.
That's, and you know what? That's exactly right. Those little boys will remember that.
Those little boys being treated the way that they were, the people that treated those little boys that way are the monsters.
Yes.
Not Eddie Gallagher.
Amen.
The people that treated, and I'm not making a pass for the little boys. But little boys being treated the way that they were treated and the way their fathers being treated, that's what makes little boys and little girls who grew up and hate the United States of America.
Yeah.
And when you hope to God that they can see past this and still love this country. But that's where you get people who don't understand what this country's all about. When they know who their daddy is, and then they see monsters treat them that way. Yeah,
and you know what? That's absolutely right. I imagine that as a father, with all this going on, it has probably crossed your mind that if Aaron was alive today, the same exact thing could happen to him.
It's funny you say that. I've never said this to anybody, but Karen and I have talked absolutely about that. You know, we have talked absolutely about that same subject to the extent, you know, if Aaron were alive, he could be in Eddie's shoes today. That's absolutely right. All it takes, and you know, I say this because I'm not a SEAL, never been a SEAL, and I respect the Navy SEALs. But I will tell you this: I don't care what class of men you have. I don't care if you got SEALs, you've got policemen, you've got doctors, or you know, wherever you have. You have men who work for the city, you have garbage truck drivers, you have construction workers. You have honorable and dishonorable men wherever you get a group of men together.
Yeah.
And all it takes for something like this to happen is for a couple or 2 or 3 young SEALs who think that the Navy SEALs are something that they're really not, that they're being tried to made into now, because I mean, and that's part of the destruction of it too. But make charges against somebody like Eddie, and for Eddie's superiors who have known Eddie for 20 years now, not have his back and not stand up to him and let this go. And that's all it takes. A good man like Eddie Gallagher or Aaron Vaughn or a host of others can be ruined in a second. They'll throw them under the bus to save their careers.
Yeah, and you know what? I read somewhere, somebody said that Eddie was being framed by younger SEALs, kind of new, you know, on his team, and they didn't like that Eddie reprimanded them about being cowardly. They wouldn't go in.
You're exactly right. That's what Eddie had told me in February, over a year ago, when we talked out at Coronado, that he was having trouble with some guys that said he had treated them too rough and been too hard on them because they didn't want to fight when they were in Iraq, and so when they got back home, then they started these lies against them.
Wow. You know, that's a bad situation, you know, for Eddie to be in, when he's got guys like that are so willing to do that and make up lies. It's sad. I know you probably seen this tweet, but Hillary Clinton tweeted about Eddie Gallagher being a possible pardon around Memorial Day, and she said it was grotesque. That, you know,
yeah,
and Andrea Gallagher's response was priceless. But what's your response?
Well, so here it is. I think that should help, Trina, to give you and your listeners more of the bigger picture to see how serious this is.
Yes.
Because Hillary Clinton, she is a globalist, she is a Marxist, and she's part of William McCracken, right there along beside her, and George Allen, and these people are all globalists. General George Allen, these people are all globalists, and they think the protection of the system is what is needed. The Hillary Clinton making that statement needs no response. It should open people's eyes to who she is and how bad this whole thing is. That's what it should do. That's exactly what it should do.
I agree. I'm going to switch on something here. You go around and do speaking engagements on Islam, and I've watched a lot of your videos and reads, and I think that, you know, you've got a lot of expertise there. So I want to ask you, is there a difference between Islam and radical Islam?
Okay, so I don't believe that there is such a thing as radical Islam. It is Islam. It's just like I'm a Christian, and I take the Bible to be literal. People would call me a fundamental Christian. And by the way, I'm thankful to be called that. Doesn't mean that I live perfectly every day, but it means that I believe the words that God has written. And but so what I would say about your question is Islam, fundamental Islam. That's what a radical Islamist is. They are one who is living by Sharia. And I'm not going to sit here and say that all Muslims are bad. I'm not going to say that.
Right.
I believe there are Muslims out there who do not want to live by Sharia.
Right.
But to characterize them in the way that we, or I might characterize a Christian, somebody who says they're a Christian, but you don't see any evidence of it in their life. And I don't mean it in a negative way. It's their business, and maybe they are a Christian, and maybe those people are Muslim, but they're not living by Sharia. I don't believe all Muslims want to live by Sharia. But I do believe that a Muslim who is practicing Islam,
Gotcha.
doctrinal Islam, is a threat to the United States of America because the two doctrines, the Constitution and doctrinal Islam, cannot coexist together.
Okay, that makes sense. Based off of what I've read, about Islam, there's really no difference between the radical Islam and Islam. It's just radical, period. When it comes to civilization, a civil society, it's radical to want to force your beliefs on somebody. So what goes through your mind when we have people in Congress right now sympathizing with the very enemies that your son and Eddie and all of our great heroes have fought and battled that want to kill us?
Okay, so would you give me a name, please?
Okay, Ilhan Omar.
Okay, so let me be clear. This is my opinion. She's not sympathizing with the enemy. She is the enemy. She is the enemy. She is waging war right now against the United States of America. She is waging war against our military. And she is a Muslim. She is a jihadi. And she is doing exactly what Islam tells her to do.
Right.
And you need to be aware. You need to be guaranteed that even though we think, Americans generally think that what she's doing, what she's saying is not a big deal, this is a lot different from Nancy Pelosi. What's the little idiot's name from New York, Cortez?
Yes.
From her, this is a lot different from them being anti-America. Because when Ilhan Omar does what she's doing, and there is no response from the government, there is no rebuttal, there is no censorship or anything done to her by our government, the Islamic world sees this as a victory, and they see it as all-out war. Because this is what's hard for Americans to understand. War, jihad, is not just bombs and guns and destroying our tanks and our planes and our ships. That's not it. That's not the jihad that they're fighting against the United States of America. If you have a jihadi attack like the Pulse nightclub or something like that in San Bernardino in the United States of America, that is an outlier.
Yes.
They don't plan to win that way in the United States of America. They plan to win in just the way that she's winning. They plan to win in this war of propaganda, of infiltration, of openly confronting verbally our president, our beliefs, our military. That is full-out war. Don't be mistaken. That is full-out war in Islam.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm hoping that people, open their eyes to that. I know that a few years back, I don't remember which group it was, but a leader of an Islamic group said that they would infiltrate the United States of America and go all the way to the highest of government. So based off what you said, do you believe that with years of open borders that that has already been achieved now, that our government has indeed been infiltrated?
Okay, so here, and you know, I'm not an expert on that stuff, so let me just say I don't have the intel on it, but I do believe the open borders are allowing us to be infiltrated by jihadis. But I believe that the ones who come through the open borders will not be the ones who will hopefully confront our governments or infiltrate our government and hold offices and maybe have security clearances and that kind of stuff. I believe those will be the ones who will be here ready for a jihadi attack should it come to that, and when it does come to that. That's what I believe. And to stir up chaos and to stir up trouble and rebellion in Muslim dominated areas, wherever they can cause it, maybe like Minneapolis and Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and whatever so have you. But they have infiltrated our government, and they've done that from top to bottom, and they've done it by keeping government officials running backwards all the time through threats and intimidation, through calling them Islamophobes. They're calling them all kind of names. If you dare even speak a word of truth about what they're doing, and they've infiltrated our State Department, and I'll just about guarantee you that any of your listeners would know more about Islam than just about anybody in our State Department today, and that's not by accident, by the way, because the State Department believes they don't have to know it. They believe they get all their information from their Islamic advisors who work in the State Department and in our government and in our military and in our FBI and in just about every law enforcement organization of any size across this country, unless the leaders of that organization have enough sense to keep them out. That's how they've infiltrated, and that's how they're leading us like lambs to a slaughter down the road to destruction. But that's why we have the greatest military that the world has ever seen. They can go out on the battlefield and crush the enemy every single night, and we can't win a war in Afghanistan. Right. Because we don't know who the enemy is, because we can't identify them. We have done for them in Afghanistan, in Iraq, across the Middle East, what they could never do themselves. And I'm talking about Osama bin Laden and the Muslim Brotherhood and Sharia compliant Islamists, because our State Department wrote the Constitution for Afghanistan and for Iraq under the direction of Islamic advisors in our State Department, and both those countries now have a Sharia compliant constitution. Something that the Taliban could not accomplish on their own, by the way.
Yes.
We did it for them with American lives and American dollars and American blood, and that's how bad it is. You cannot describe how bad it is and how stupid we are as Americans for this to keep on going.
Right. I mean, I would say that government is pretty stupid when it comes to this, considering that we have, they allow the female genital mutilation in Michigan on young girls and teenagers. The whole system is working for supporting their Sharia law, which is completely contradictory to our Constitution, and why our guys are over there fighting and dying, to stop jihad from coming here. But I mean, you probably have grandkids.
So Trina, that is jihad.
Yeah.
That is jihad right
Okay.
there. That is Sharia being implemented a little bit at a time until finally we have it. Every time, and as long as that kind of stuff is going on and they're winning, under Islam, under Islamic law, they have to keep on.
Awesome.
Allah only lets them make a truce when they're losing. And so that is jihad when that is taking place. And just think about this. We're doing it one step at a time. And they'll take any small step they can get. It's just like it's just like this. If there was a person wanting to beat you to death, and maybe this is not, maybe I don't know, maybe it's kind of a grotesque illustration, but it is true. If there's a person that you were having trouble with, and he or she was wanting to beat you to death with a tire iron that they had out in their car, they would not tell you. If you were sitting inside a restaurant, the illustration I've heard is a bar, but I'll say a restaurant. If you were sitting in and this guy told you that they wanted to beat you to death with a tire iron and it's in their car, well, there's no way you're going to go out with them to their car. But if they told you that they wanted to talk to you, sit down and talk to you for a little bit, and then they said, well, can we step over by the door? And then they said later in the conversation, would you step out to my car? I want to show you something. Incrementally, they are defeating you and they are beating you until the final play is, they hope, is to get you out to their car where they can use that tire iron on you. And that's what Islam does. They don't need to come in here on horses with sabers and take America over in the first day. They're doing it without blood.
So it's a process.
And in fact, when something like a San Bernardino or a Pulse nightclub attack happens, and we all look and we say, "Wow, that's jihad. That's a jihadi attack," and indeed it is.
Yeah.
But it's only one kind. And then we have CARE, or somebody else, some other Muslim Brotherhood organization say, "Wow, we condemn that right there."
Yeah.
Look at us, we're not like that. Well, what does that do? What does that do with the average American? It makes us think, well, yeah, that's right. Those people there are not bad. Those people are bad. No, they're all bad.
Yeah.
They're just fighting a different kind of jihad. Their end goal is the same, and it's the domination of America. And whether it be through fear, manipulation, intimidation, media, schools, education, whatever it is, the end result is all the same. It's all the same. The goal is all the same. It's to have an Islamic Republic in the United States of America and across the world, and a caliphate. That's what we have to remember, and that's what we have to be on our toes about, so that even when they get ready to build a mosque, that we as Americans are fighting that, even if it's embarrassing to fight it. Because when they build a mosque, it's the forward operating base.
Right.
Muhammad said that. The Muslim Brotherhood in the United States absolutely describes their mosque in their memorandum of understanding the same way that Muhammad did back when he was alive. They wage their wars out of there. It's not a place of worship. Yeah, they may pray there, but it is a fob.
Well, that actually explains why Islam is being taught in schools. It's a form of, it's a process, like you said. That would explain why. That's
right.
So there's really there's no real organization that Islam or jihad is not already touching in America. It's all around. So,
well, I'll tell you this. That's a good statement. If it's not infiltrated in it, it is influencing it. And it is influencing everything we do. Because I can tell you right now, as brave as you are, and as courageous as you are, if you get ready to speak publicly somewhere, you got to be careful what you say, even though it's true about Islam, because they have intimidated you with the words that they use, with the labels that you put on you, and all kinds of stuff like that. I'll tell you, I was at a meeting yesterday with Florida Department of Law Enforcement up in Orlando, and I used the phrase Islamic movement. And after I got done, I actually felt bad because I had used it, because I was afraid that I had intimidated some people, that I had offended some people. And then I got to thinking, everything I said was true.
Right.
But when the intimidation comes from, it comes from them ostracizing you like that, and so it influences all of us. They are absolutely riding the national security apparatus of this country right now. Marxists and jihadis. That's how bad trouble we're in.
Do you think that jihad and the attack on the Second Amendment is part of, does that fit into Islam's process or Sharia's process?
Okay, so, yes, it would. But what I would say about the attack on the Second Amendment is I would say that that's more influenced by the Marxists.
Gotcha.
Because the Marxists don't want us to have those guns. And the Marxists, I believe, are a lot more of an influence throughout our country right now than the jihadis, because they are everywhere. So they are everywhere, so that we don't even recognize it anymore. It keeps policemen from doing their jobs with political correctness. It keeps teachers from being able to discipline children with political correctness. It keeps parents from being able to do what they should be able to do with their own homes, with their own family, with their own kids, because of political correctness, because of things like that. And it's Marxism finances and puts money behind these movements like the transgender movement, the LGBT movement, anything to help destroy marriage, to help destroy the home. I know people are going to think I'm nuts, but Marxists put money behind that. Marxist organizations,
right,
like George Soros and all kinds of organizations like that. Antifa is a Marxist organization. Don't be mistaken; they're violent, and they're working hand in hand with jihadis and with the Islamic movement now, because they think they're going to take the country down. I mean, it's what it is.
What's the aside from the Marxist? Well, you know what? We'll put it all in there. What are, I guess, would jihad or Sharia law be one of your top 3 biggest threats to America?
Number 1 and number 2.
Number 1 and number 2. Okay.
And I would say that, and I'm not as well versed on it, but I would say Marxism is number 1, because I'll tell you this, and I've said it a little bit ago. If we could eliminate Marxism in our country, the jihadi threat would drive on the line, because then we'd be able to educate people about it. Our law enforcement would be able to do what they need to do. Political correctness would be out of the way, and we could destroy that threat. Right now, Marxism so influences everything that it keeps us from. In fact, it keeps us from even recognizing the threat. It keeps in the military, political correctness and stuff like that keeps us from going from recognizing who the Muslims are, because they have taken this political correctness and this victimology stuff, to totally to the limit. And people need to remember in Florida that our current governor, Ron DeSantis, who I happened to be with yesterday for a few minutes up in Orlando, he didn't win the state, and he's a constitutionalist. He's a Christian. He didn't win the state by much.
Right.
He only got 30 or 40,000 votes.
Right.
The difference in the picture there is it's not like we would have had a constitutionalist governor and then a moderate Democrat. We would have had a Marxist.
Yes. Yes.
Andrew Gillum is a Marxist. He's worse than Barack Obama.
Yes.
And he almost won. So that's how close we are, even here in our own state. That's how serious this fight is.
I agree.
It's going to be harder in 2020. It's going to be harder because Gillum's got a lot of money behind him right now. He's trying to register 1.5 million new voters, and so it's going to be harder for President Trump. I believe all Trump voters have to come out, and then it's going to be, even for Governor DeSantis the next time, because they are 100% at work, and I'll tell you what, they've almost got the camel on its side. That's what they believe. Now, that's a Middle Eastern term. But in the Middle East, Osama bin Laden said, a falling horse attracts many eyes. And many places, many states, Georgia, southern conservative state, not that way anymore. And if we don't watch it, we're going to lose the whole republic.
And that's I was sounding the alarm on that, and a lot of people around me told me I was nuts, because I actually said, it's great that we, Florida State red in 2016, or 2018, but I told everyone, look, Texas, Georgia, Florida, we barely beat communists, Marxists, socialists. We barely beat them, and I fear what the 2020 election will be.
That's right.
It's frightening when you think about it, because they just I guess you probably read the article yesterday about Florida and about the assault weapons ban, which we don't have assault weapons on the street. I mean, we don't. You can't buy one, but that's what they call them. But they say that that Florida will most likely have a ban, because they had enough signatures to go in front of the Florida Supreme Court. And now it will probably be on the ballot in 2020. So I feel like, and maybe you could put some insight on this, because you actually talk to leaders. So I feel like that we have a better chance of losing than we do as winning, because if there's not cheating going on, then they're doing the ballot harvesting, or the ballot initiatives in Florida. Same thing they did to Washington State. Maybe you know more about what I'm talking or trying to get up to. So, about what's really going on in the election headquarters that we don't know.
No, I don't. I probably don't. Let me tell you something. I'm not big in politics. I hate it. And as much as I can do to stay away from it, I do. Because there's just so much BS, even among Republicans. It just is. And but I think it's very serious about our Second Amendment rights. I want to understand there are three. What I've been told, there are three ballot initiatives. All of them to do with weapons. Two of them don't have anywhere near enough money, but one of them is pretty strong.
Yes.
And so you're actually. By the way, I don't believe in these amendments. I don't believe that. I don't even think that they're constitutional. I mean, we have a republic in Florida. We have a legislature in Florida, and as you can tell, many of these things that are passed, they're passed by groups that have money and get the votes, and even if some of them are good, there's no debate on them. You can't tell what the long-term effects are. And when our legislature does its job, and I said when they do its job, that's the way it's supposed to work, because they will debate something for a while. They will look at the long-term effects, the positives and negatives, and that's why that our government, our federal government, our founders set it up like that instead of a simple Democratic majority. But I do believe it's going to be harder to win, because I'll tell you what, they fight day and night, and they got more money than we have. They fight day and night. They got more money. They've been advancing for a long, long time. We've been giving up ground for a long, long time, and I'm afraid that a lot of people, when we won this last election, thought that the war was over. The war is ongoing. We just won a battle.
Right.
That's it. We just won a battle. And we won a battle to fight again another day. They have been well organized a long, long time, more than we have, and more money. So I do think it's very serious, and it's going to be hard to keep on
Yes, and
they know that.
I actually believe that the far left. I actually believe that they really do mean what they are promising. They really do mean it. And some people think, oh no, they're just doing it for votes. But I really think that this is, their agenda. That's what they want to do. But I hope we never find out, because I hope that we continue to win for our country. How would you rate President Trump when it comes to, is he doing more for our military now than what they've had for a while? I mean, is he doing better for our country in your opinion, or?
Oh, absolutely. I think President Trump, I think he's great for our country. Absolutely.
Okay. I actually do too. I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, I voted for him, but I'm not going to vote for him because of immigration. He hasn't built the wall. Many don't understand that certain things his hands are kind of tied with. You see, the courts are fighting him left and right. But I know you got somewhere to be, so here's what I'd like my last question to be for you. If what would you want out of our topics today? What would you want your main thing, or your main what's really on your heart to say to the audience when it comes to what's happening to our heroes, and how Islam is affecting the world stage right now? What we should be concerned about? How would you say to the audience?
The first question about our heroes is we need to support them, and we might have to step out on the edge to help them. We may be uncomfortable to help them. They need to be, they need to be stood up for. I mean, they need to know that we support them. I mean, they keep us free. And by the way, they volunteer for that. They're not drafted.
That's right.
They're very special men and women. And the second part about Islam, what did you ask about Islam?
About what the public needs to know about Islam in America.
Oh, okay. So yes, people need to understand that in America, even though it doesn't look like it, that Islam, jihadi movement, is fully engaged in war against the United States of America. Fully engaged. I know it doesn't look like what's going on in the Middle East, but that's because they can't. That's because they can't take us violently. They can't go around doing the kind of things that are going on in the Middle East, because that would awaken the American citizen. It would awaken the American mother, who would not allow that to happen to her children in this country. And they know that we have the means to defend ourselves if we are awake. So the war here is not kinetic. The war here is cultural. I think you had on the list of questions that you had given me, you had asked me something about infiltration in the schools and stuff like that.
Yes.
Let me just say that. It's not infiltration in the schools. It's war. It's warfare. We may call it infiltration. They call it warfare. They call it jihad, which is holy war. Jihad. When they're moving in to a place like Minneapolis, and they're settling in there amongst them and around them and all that kind of stuff, that is jihad. In fact, it is called Hijra. The way that they're moving into this country, and they're coming in with their customs, and they're settling amongst us, there is an Islamic word for it, and it is Hijra. And if you want to go back and look and see how long that's gone on, when Muhammad moved from Mecca to Medina and took all of his followers with him, he called it Hijra.
Wow.
When those Muslims are moving from Africa to Europe, that is Hijra. Then you see what's happening, don't you? They're bringing their religion, their ideology, their culture, their customs, their beliefs, everything about it, they're bringing with them because they don't intend to become a European. They intend to be a Muslim wherever they are. And to them, that is the nation that they are loyal to.
Yes.
It's Islam. And that's the same thing that's going on in America. It's Israel. No, we can't see it as much as we can here in Europe. But I can tell you right now, by the way, that Ilhan Omar is getting away with what she's getting away with in the United States House of Representatives. I'm not sure that we're not as weak here as they are in Europe. I mean, she's full out war right now.
Yeah.
So.
What this interview is really going to be something that's really going to help a lot of people. I mean, you told me things I didn't even know when it comes to Islam, and you actually go and speak, correct? You do speeches.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How can the audience get information on your speaking engagements?
You know what? I don't really have a website or anything of its own. You know, I mean, I really don't. I just, and you know, the truth of it is I'm kind of busy, so I don't push it. When people ask me to come speak, I go and speak. You know, if I can. And I guess I should be. I should be better about that. But
well, you're busy.
but anyway, you know, I mean, I don't know.
You and your wife are very busy. I understand that. And you know, I'm appreciative to what time you give me because I know you're busy. And since you know the Gallaghers, please let them know that Andrea and your wife Karen are two of the strongest women I know to endure what they do and fight the way they fight. And you know, as someone that has been through what you've been through,